Hello, and welcome back to this Xcom Final Mod series, wherein I drag my guild along into horrible death traps, missions to save humanity. But first, I want to show off my interesting aircraft, which I had the engineers build. I am not entirely sure what new kind of alien ships can be taken out now, but I am eager to find out. Before that, though, I want to show you a UFO that uncharacteristically landed of its own volition. And I'm not entirely sure what's in there, but hey, that's what the rookies are there to find out. Although, by this point, even the people I hired specifically for that team are not really rookies anymore. Not all of them, anyway. Well, let's see who has graced American soil. Near the America base. Now, I have a few things to say here, and not as much time as I would like. First of all, I wanted Sharon KS to join me for this, but we were unable to do a collaborative commentary because of technical difficulties. So, my apologies to Sharon. I'll bring you along at my earliest opportunity. Now, I forgot smoke grenades, so I'm laying them down manually. The scout tank is great for that. And you know it's gonna be a fun mission where in the very first alien turn your Sky Ranger takes some shots at it. Now, these are floaters. This is the first encounter with them in this particular playthrough. The main thing that they can do is, well, they float. They can move freely along the vertical axis, which means that they will do things like, well, get on top of the UFO to shoot at me. Or you guys, since it's most likely guildmates who are watching this. Of course, since they use plasma weapons, pretty much any shot could cause a casualty, which means that the difficulty has switched back around. Near the start, it's the men in black who are the guys to worry about, because you can't really get through their armor. Once you can get through their armor, they use less powerful weapons than the aliens most of the time, so you have a better chance of surviving an unfortunate turn. Whereas in the early game, well, both the actual aliens and the men in black kill you anyway, so it's easier to fight the aliens that you can kill back fairly easily. But now, well, I have armor to protect against the smaller stuff, but my people are less expendable than they used to be. So once again, this is the more tense of the encounters. No line of fire? That's what the control button is for. It's great for making a line of fire. Oh, wow. Receipts, I would hate to lose you there. And since you're still alive, that was probably a plasma pistol. Even so, that was probably a bad roll on the alien's part. Now, if I knew exactly how this worked, I would have done... Oh, well, first of all, I would have probably have tried to aim at the correct tile. But also, captures are more important in Final Mod than they are in Vanilla, and not just because you need them to unlock laser and Gauss weaponry. On the other hand, well, even if I... You know what? I'm getting sidetracked. These Gauss rifles are pretty great. However, the shots that I just took with Rance, well, I could have easily shot my people in the back there. I hope this wasn't skipping too far ahead. Not much happened as I approached and scouted around the UFO. The scout vehicle is great for things like this, checking around corners. And I'm considering bringing 2 in 1 mission at some point, because as troops get less expendable, it might be more useful to have an extra in case the first scout gets shot early in the mission. Of course, I'm fairly sure Hart would say, but that's what recruits are for. Which is why I'm glad he's not the one running the guild. Now, as much as I'd like to go over and take a snapshot, there's not much I could do if I missed, which can happen as we've observed in the past. Well, that thing in the middle, that's the alien power source, which is my favorite thing about capturing an intact UFO. Well, also, nice thing about Gauss, against most of the semi-ordinary aliens, one shot is almost always a kill. You have plenty of ammo, and you don't even need to use alien alloys to make Gauss ammo, so it's very cost effective. Laser weapons need Illyrium, which, as I've mentioned, cannot be made on Earth at all. However, I will still use them in situations like this, when I've got a terror map ahead of me. Now, since I've just encountered floaters around there, I'm figuring that I'm likely to encounter them in the terror mission as well, which means we'll be fighting those Reapers, which at this point are scary looking, but not really a match for laser or Gauss weapons. So this is a great opportunity to capture a whole lot of things, but most importantly an alien leader, which is key to advancing in the game in general. And I've also equipped jumpsuits. Those floaters I killed earlier, they float because they are equipped with anti-gravity units. They're kind of built into their bodies. And we're able to salvage them and use them in our armor to make jumpsuits. Well, that'll really help to use the stun rod on floaters that are floating, because otherwise using melee on them could be pretty tough. Yep, I know you guildmates are all itching to get started on taking a melee fight to plasma-wielding aliens. And here's another little trick that I have used in the past, but this is the first time that I'm really showing it off. It's taking advantage of a mercy mechanic that's built into the game, which is, in order to make sure that you can always reach a terror site in time if you launch immediately, a terror site will not go away when a troop transport is heading for it. Which means that if I have two transports, I can just send one, and then at the last second send my second one, and send the first one back, to help delay the mission until daybreak. Because I don't want to handle a night terror mission right now, and I especially don't want to handle one where capturing is important. It feels like every second or third mission I show here is a terror mission. Maybe it's because I need to get better detection to find UFOs more frequently. Oh well. But I have plenty of laser weapons for the terror units, so let's get this thing started. And I did remember my smoke grenades this time. But this terror mission is going to be the first real test of the secondary squad. Good luck, guys and girls. If any of you make it back, I'll have medals. Well, I didn't hear any spitter sounds, so that narrows that down, which is really good news because I can't get anything useful out of that terror mission. Now that particular round of screaming is done, let's take a look around. Oh, those are not Reapers at all. It seems that instead of facing floaters, we're facing sectoids from the same operation that killed several of our people when we tried to capture some of them. And since I was expecting Reapers, I did not bring rocket launchers or that many heavy explosives. So this is going to... well, I hope these Gauss and laser weapons work well against alien hover tanks, because if they don't, I don't actually know what's going to happen. Whew. On the other hand, this makes the capture of an alien leader even more important. Reason being, sectoid leaders have mind powers, and if I capture one, I can learn eventually to unlock human mind powers. There's also going to be at least a couple of sectoid medics around, so I want to try and capture a couple other sectoids whenever the opportunity presents itself. First though, I need to hang back, way back in the smoke, because Cyberdisc plasma guns pretty much ignore my armor. Now, I want to confess something to you. I did not actually get a successful mission on my first try here. At first I tried it at night and that did not go well. And since the enemies are all grounded, I'm not going to get the chances to use the jump armor that I was hoping for. But yeah, I guess I gotta make do with what I have. Of course, since it's also my job to provide the tools, if they're bad, that's also my fault, I guess. Now, I think in the last sectoid mission there were around 5 cyber discs. I should have enough ammo, even though laser weapons don't have infinite ammo in this mod. They do have a pretty decent amount, and I did bring spare clips, or magazines, or whatever. I have seen several people on the internet who get really upset when you call magazines clips. But that's off topic, again. I will tell you something that's on topic, though. During the last attempt, Charon Chaos asked me how this run makes me feel differently about Xcom than previous runs did. And I thought that was an excellent question, so I wanted to answer it here, since I'm fairly sure he's going to listen in. There are a few things. One of which is, I played XCOM way back before I learned about the difficulty bug or how to fix it. Also, wow, at least that's 3 of my squad mates who have shot the Cyberdisc a few times and not taken it down. I hope that's not a trend. But, anyway, when I last played through the game seriously, or as seriously I could get with my lack of knowledge, I did not know that I was playing on the easiest difficulty. Oh, that crumpling sound you heard? That means that the Cyberdisc explosion took out another Cyberdisc that was right next to it. So that wasn't a horrible waste of ammo after all. Well, it's a good... You know, that detonation thing was supposed to be... Well, probably supposed to be a dangerous hazard to Xcom, because you'd probably want to get in close to make sure that you could get accurate shots on the thing. Even though it's 4 squares, it's not as easy to hit as it looks, because it has a very thin vertical profile. But then it would explode and probably take some of your people with it. Really powerful explosion, in fact. But, of course, the drawback of that is that even though cyber discs... Oh, wow. That was a reaction shot. I'm surprised I survived. Cyber discs are really accurate. But, as I was saying, cyber discs take reduced damage from explosions and have a demonstratedly strong armor. However, even so, the detonation of a nearby cyber disk is apparently enough to take one out, which has saved me a whole lot of trouble. It took me a long time to explain that, didn't it? So much time that I shot another one down in the meantime. My apologies. Now, because this is a capture mission, and because terror missions often have wide open spaces, yeah, I brought dart guns. They're horrible weapons. They have low accuracy even with aim shots. You can't auto-fire with them, and they have small ammunition capacity. And they don't even deal very much damage. But there's nothing else that I can use at long range, so there you go. It's actually a good thing I'm fighting sectoids with them, because they have pretty much no armor and low health. So they're the best target for... Oh, jeez. Fokradin was apparently the best target for that cyber disc. Sorry about that. So, let's track that thing down. And this is one of the things that I think sets the game apart from Fire Emblem, which is Fire Emblem does have permadeath, and soldier growth is important there too. However, Fire Emblem is usually very transparent about what's around and how everything works. Oh, that sound? Yes. Poor deflection. So, we have discovered the alien leader who used his mind powers to greatly drain Deflection's morale and make him a danger to himself and others. The good news is we know where the alien leader is now, although I'm not sure that I have a shot on it yet. Oh, without the mod, things would be much worse, by the way. Because in vanilla, psychic powers for the aliens worked such that as soon as any alien sees any of your soldiers, psychic aliens can target any of your soldiers on the map. Whereas in this version, they actually need line of sight to do their thing. And when you get your hands on vanilla psionic powers, if anything, it's even more broken. So the nerf goes both ways, which I'm fairly happy about that. I'm also fairly safe moving around in front of that thing since it used all of its turn units doing stuff. Time units, whatever. Thank you, Receipts. That was a fairly important shot. Well then. With the leader down, all further capturing is kinda optional. However, if I knew exactly how the game worked in Final Mod, I would have put a lot more effort into capturing not only here but in the floater mission. Reason being, research does not work the same way in Final Mod as it does in vanilla. In vanilla, you really only had to capture 3 aliens. 1 navigator, 1 leader, preferably a sectoid leader, and 1 commander to unlock pretty much everything. In this game, every time you do research on a live alien engineer or medic, you unlock random technologies or other information, and as such, you will need to capture quite a few of them to get all of the fun endgame toys. I like this idea. I really do. It puts much more of an emphasis on capturing in this game than vanilla. And instead of having stun rods for maybe 1 or 2 missions, you need to learn the art of the capture quite well. Also, against enemies like sectoids, earth weapons are in some ways more useful than the replacements. Like, Gauss can't auto-fire, whereas light machine guns, well, that's what they do. Against armor, though, well, I'll be glad that those weapons are there. And the scout is doing a good job scouting, as usual. Dead air. Dead air. Oh, I wonder what could be over here. A surprise! That's what's... well, technically that's what's behind you. But yeah, moments like that, where you're kinda carefully crawling along with soldiers that you can't necessarily afford to lose, then the firing thing happens on your turn, and I admit I've kinda jumped a couple of times in this playthrough because of that. But my understanding is that a lot of people like that kind of suspense. And since I'm still playing this game, I guess I'm among those people. And I'm not really sure what to do with Antithesis, because I don't want him to stand right in alien view, but I also don't know if moving him will put him out of that line of sight. And because that's the only direction where there are windows, I'm not sure that I can take out the alien from here. Granted, terrain is destructible, but brick walls are not the most destructible kind. Since Deflection destroyed one with his Gauss pistol, I decided that that might not be a bad thing to try. So, as soon as I find someone who has it, I shall attempt this impromptu... Yes, deflection. You destroyed one wall, let's try another one. No such luck. Good luck, Antithesis. And if you don't get good luck, well, you knew the risks. Huh. Turned around. I'm kinda surprised. Whoa, whoa. Whoa. That thing is dangerous. Maybe you should put it down. Good news is, Alien has decided to examine this primitive Earth architecture, so there we go. I beg your pardon. Sometimes people on the internet, they want to contact me. Oh? Is that more capturing fodder, I see? Well, maybe not. This is a terror mission, and survival comes first. And once again, light machine gun works much better than it does in Doctor Who. That sort of thing actually led my brother to joke, "Next terror mission, Daleks." Whoa. I would not be surprised if a mod for that came out at some point. I would really not want to face Daleks, though. Okay, Kenjutsu, do your heavy machine gun thing. Do your heavy machine gun thing a little bit better. Actually, that cyber disc probably took some heavy damage there, considering what that gun did to the previous one. And fortunately, we're at a distance and angle where we can afford another turn. Well, actually, how much of that was fortune and how much of that was my skillful commanding? I don't know. Probably mostly fortune. Next turn. I believe that the disc tried to move upward to escape attention. Yeah, that was definitely the same cyber disc. That was actually some pretty good shooting. Also, it looked like those rounds were self-prepared. Self-prepared? What? Self-propelled. Ouch. Ooh. Yeah, the Gauss pistol is a great replacement for the shotgun and the Magnum. They serve similar purposes, probably closer to the Magnum, and they have really good power. In a one-handed weapon, too. The laser pistol is closer to the submachine gun role, although even less accurate. Nope. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed the format of this so far. Every time I edit out some part where I move my troops around but no shooting happens... I wonder whether or not I'm cutting out something important. But this is a very tricky situation here. That sectoid is using, I believe, a heavy plasma gun. And sectoids have good reaction skills. And that's short range. And heavy plasma guns are really powerful. So if I go around the corner, my best guess at the point was that I would die. So I leave the sectoid alone for now. That's one. And that's one. I wasn't kidding about those things being kind of tough to hit. Mr. Camerupt has considerably less trouble. Good shooting, Mr. Camerupt. At least I think those were hits. Gauss rifles and heavy machine guns pack the same amount of power, by the way. Oh, well. Escaped one form of death and apparently left myself open to another. Alien grenade hit my scout and, well, you saw who was nearby. Similar to what happened with the civilian in the last playthrough, although less of a complete disaster. Alright, you can do it, Kenjutsu. I guess you can't do it, never mind. Alright, Mr. Camerupt, maybe you can do it. It's already taken a couple of hits, so if you get a good shot... Instead, the Cyberdisc got a good shot. The game got its revenge, or I should say Mr. Hart somehow got his revenge for all of that trash talk you gave him a couple of videos ago. So I'm sure he's laughing his body parts off in the afterlife. And in that same afterlife, Camerupt is like, shut up, you died before I did. You got nothing to laugh about. Alright. Hopefully this is the last Cyberdisc, because I've shot quite a few of them down already. Yep, it was. And... I don't know exactly how many aliens were killed because a couple of the corpses were destroyed by Cyberdisc explosions. We also lost some good people. I mean, Camerupt had been growing quite nicely, so was Jurisnia. Pogradin was a rookie, but still. Just the game reminding us what we're playing, as opposed to the last few missions where it felt like some other game. Now let's check what we got. I didn't have time to see what the capture ranks were before. I'm checking here instead of the cell room because of hilarious mistake possibility, but it turns out we captured the entire sectoid chain of command up to leader. Whether this was worth it? Well, I certainly hope so. We'll have to find out as time progresses. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I definitely enjoyed playing it, and I will see you next time.